Hey guys, what's going on? It's Andrew from AR Media. In today's video, I want to do an updated 2018 TV buying guide. Now, I did one of these last year. It was a big hit, and this is going to be specific things to look out for when you're buying a TV. This is not going to be suggesting specific models. I will do that at the end of the video, but this is just going to be things to look out for when you're buying a new TV in 2018. Let's get to it. So you're going out to buy a new TV in 2018, and there is a ton of different terminology out there, a ton of different marketing terms, and honestly, it gets just all very confusing. So what I want to do in this video is just break down a couple of important factors you want to decide when buying a TV that will make a big impact on your home theater experience. So the first thing is going to be the panel type. Now that's going to be between LED and OLED. Now LED is backlit. Now OLED, each pixel individually illuminates, so you get the deep inky blacks that I talk about in some of my 4K videos. That's because the pixels are completely off and what you're seeing is just the black screen. Now on an LED, it uses local dimming to dim that area to simulate black or to dim it completely to show black. Now this really shows its advantages when you're watching widescreen movies and you have those black bars, as well as in space movies, anything with a lot of black, you could really tell the distinction between OLED and LED. So if you're going to go for an OLED, you do not even have to worry about local dimming. It is all done for you and you get a nice vivid picture with deep inky blacks out of the box. If you're going to go with LED, you want to make sure you get a full array backlit LED panel. Now what this means is it has LEDs behind it and they consist of zones. So the zones will be pairing of LEDs and you'll have something like 72 zones or 96 zones, and the more zones the better, because that's the more LEDs on the panel that can illuminate and that can dim to simulate that black that the OLED achieves. Now the next big factor is HDR10 and Dolby Vision. So a lot of TVs have HDR10, but not all HDR10 is created equal. So when it comes to LED panels, you're going to rely on nits. Nits is how you measure brightness on a TV, and the one thing that the LED definitely has ahead of the OLED is the brightness. LEDs can go up to 1,000 nits, even 1,500 nits on some model, while the OLEDs are around 700 nits. Now 700 nits is enough for HDR10 and Dolby Vision content, but the brighter the better the picture. Now I personally still prefer the viewing of an OLED over an LED with a brighter picture. Don't get me wrong, the HDR might flex its muscles a little bit more on a well-lit LED than on an OLED, but I think OLED properly represents the colors and doesn't make anything over bright or overly saturated. Now you want to make sure that you have HDR10, and sadly Dolby Vision isn't on all TVs, so I would like to say that you want to make sure you have Dolby Vision as well, just for future proofing, but not all TVs have it. I would personally go with a set with HDR10 and Dolby Vision if you can, but if not, make sure it has that HDR10 at least. Next thing you want to make sure is the number of HDMI ports, but more specifically the number of HDMI 2.0A ports. Those are the ports that could pass 4K, 60 frames per second HDR, and that's what you're going to need, especially for the future proofing. Now HDMI 2.1 is right on the border, and some of the 2018 TVs might have it, so if you can find one with the 2.1, definitely pick that up, but you're going to be looking for 2.0A ports, and you want as many of them as you can. And one more thing I just want to say is don't fall for any marketing scandals. Like, I really don't like what Samsung did with the whole QLED thing, because every person that I spoke to thought that that was Samsung's branding of an OLED panel and had no idea that it was just an LED panel. That really bothers me. So one thing, don't fall for the marketing terms and don't fall for necessarily what the sales representatives are going to be pitching to you. These are the major things to focus on in my opinion. Clearly screen size and other things, but that's more personal. But these are the most important things out of getting the best image out of your display in my opinion. So now I want to recommend some displays, and really all I'm going to do is kind of like a low, mid end and then the high end, because that's really the only two TVs I suggest right now. And don't get me wrong, this is no hate against other manufacturers. It has nothing to do with the actual manufacturer. It just has to do with TVs that I know and love. So for the high end, clearly I would recommend the LG OLED. The thing has never let me down. It is beautiful in viewing all types of image, whether it be 4K Blu-ray, even cable TV. Everything looks great on it right out of the box. Now for the lower end mid-range, I'm going to say that TCL P series. It's an absolute steal. It has the full array local dimming, the 2018 even more zones than last year. It's got Dolby Vision and HDR10, and it looks phenomenal. My friend's got one, and it is definitely the TV I recommend if you can't find an OLED for a good deal. Now anyway guys, let me know if you have any questions down below. I would love to help you guys out with picking your TV. I know I didn't go over every little factor, but I feel like you're not going to go into the store and look at every factor. I really went over the important aspects, and let me know down below if you guys need any help. I'll be glad to help you. Anyway guys, I'll see you in the next one.